All team, give it everything you got.
It's time to fangirl flail with Fangirls Going Rogue.
Count me in.
I don't think there's anything more important in the Star Wars universe than the fans.
News, discussion, and commentary from the female point of view.
You call this a diplomatic solution?
No, I call it aggressive negotiations.
With your hosts, Teresa Delgado, Trisha Barr, and Sarah Woloski.
Boy, am I glad to hear your voice.
Strap in, because this is where the fun begins.
I like the sound of that.
You are listening to episode 35 of Fangirls Going Rogue, when we're so glad to have you. My name is Teresa Delgado. I'm one of your co-hosts, and with me are my other awesome, fabulous, bestest friends in the whole entire Star Wars geeky world. Trisha Barr from Fangirl Blog. What's up?
Oh, what's up? Howdy. I don't know where to go. Should I sing?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just punchy now.
I was waiting for what song you were going to pick.
I know. You know what? I always pull out, let it go. Let it go.
Maybe we should introduce you before you sing. All right. Up next is Sarah Woloski from Skywalking Through Neverland, who is going to sing for us.
Wait, did I say I would sing? I didn't say I would sing. Nuh-uh.
All right, no singing on this episode.
All right, so we're punchy tonight, but that's okay. And it's because we're on the tail end of all these conventions we've been going to, either virtually through our phones or from actually traveling. So later on in the show, you're going to get to hear our wrap-ups of Star Wars Celebration Europe and San Diego ComicCon. But first, we need to talk to Trisha about something that she did, Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah, she did this thing where she sent us presents.
We love presents.
We do love presents. And I think we got the most awesomest presents ever. And that's why I'm glad Trisha's my friend. Not because she buys me presents, but because when she does, they're kick-ass. And I have to say that because I don't know what else to say.
Well, what were your presents? Tell everybody.
I got this awesome Her Universe Press fangirl coloring book. Like, how awesome is that? And it's illustrated by Katie Cook and Ashley Eckstein. Now, Trisha, do you know, is this like the first Her Universe Press item?
Well, they have some books out, but this is the first coloring book. And I saw it and I thought of you immediately. So I figured I expect to see your artistic side coming out and some beautiful scribbles one day.
Well, you know what I think we should do with this is actually bring it to any fangirl meetups we happen to have and have people start coloring pages and signing them.
Ooh, I like that idea too.
Yeah, so I think that's like the perfect book to do that. And then I also got some awesome Star Wars Celebration swag and, oh my goodness, of course, Fangirls Going Rogue Europe buttons. And this cool pin from Disneyland, which is Tinkerbell on an Eiffel Tower, and it's amazing.
You don't even know how many Tinkerbell options I had at Disneyland Paris. So it was like, which one do I pick? Which pin? So it was a lot of decision making because Tinkerbell actually is on the weather vane over the top of the Disneyland Hotel there. So she's their kind of symbol for Disneyland Paris. So I thought the Eiffel Tower was a good one, though. And it's purple.
It is. It's purple. And you know what I loved when I was over there at Disneyland Paris is that Tinkerbell is called like Flea de Clofette or something like that. It's like some really cute name. Do you remember?
Yes. Well, no, because everything was in enough English that I didn't have to.
Okay.
Well, this is what they do. They like look at you and they talk to you in French, and then when you give them a dumb look, they're like, "Oh, English." So you really can get by with speaking no French in Disneyland Paris, which although sometimes they thought I was Spanish, so I got a lot of Spanish, but I can't understand Spanish, so that worked out fine. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I can do that."
You just give them that little dog head tilt look, like. Huh?
Well, I just do want, if there are any Disney executives listening to do the parks, please bring the Turtle Crush ride to America.
Yes. Isn't that ride amazing?
It is amazing, and I was like just blown away by that ride. So I want it in America at any park. I will go to either coast, but just put it in America somewhere.
Yeah, DCA, please.
Let's just put it right in Texas. Let's just in the middle.
At Schlitterbahn. At Schlitterbahn.
No. Yeah, no, let's open a new park in Texas so that I have one.
And Teresa, what did you get in your box?
Oh my God, I got awesome stuff. And I got stuff that came out of the first ever, and we talked about it on the episode of Galactic Fashion that just came out. Her Universe themed fangirl. It's not even themed. It was like sponsored by Her Universe, the Fangirl Loot Crate. And it's done by the company Loot Crate that makes all the loot crates, but they did a specific one for fangirls and had fangirl stuff in it. And I got cool stuff from it.
What was it? What'd you get?
Okay, so Trisha actually gave me the dress, which you're crazy. You should have kept the dress for yourself.
The dress is really it is adorable. It's the Women of Marvel dress, and I love it. It is so cute. But Teresa really rocked it, and I saw it, and I was kind of like, it just looked like you. So I went with that as I was like, I think this is really your thing. And sent Sandra the Uhura 50th anniversary clutch out of that, which was really, really cool. And she likes her little purse. So I'm glad that she enjoyed that. So there was a lot of cute stuff in it.
The dress is just awesome. It's great quality. It's actually a lot softer than some of the other stuff that I have from Her Universe. It has this really cool material, almost like a scuba material a little bit. And it was just, it's the print of the Women of Marvel on it was just amazing. I pulled it out and then I put it on right away, and I had worn boots to work. So I was like, this is perfect. And I put it on and I flipped my hair to the side and I was like, selfie.
Yeah, you did. You took excuse me for saying this, but you took a badass selfie.
I was like, this dress is awesome. I actually think it's what I'm going to wear on the first day of school. So well done, Trisha. And then I also got the nail wraps, which I'm judging from the fact that that I like Jamberry nail wraps. And these are from a cosmetic company that made geeky nail wraps. And I was like,
well, I know you use them. I mean, Sarah has this like crazy awesome nail tech who does her like BB-8. So I know she was like set on the geeky nail. So I was like, okay, I know Teresa like this. I still want to come to Anaheim and go to Sarah's nail tech and get BB-8 nails. That's my thing.
Awesome. Trisha, did you keep anything for yourself?
I don't think I kept anything out of that box. I gave everything away.
Wow.
I know, isn't that crazy? But no, I kind of came home with all this stuff from Celebration and my pack of pins. I think you all got a pin too from Celebration Europe, right? Did everybody get a pin?
Oh, yes.
Like a writing pin or a badge pin?
Well, you got a writing pen, but a badge pen.
You know,
right?
I think Richard already confiscated mine here. Here it is. Wait. I got Poe Dameron.
I got Finn.
Nice.
And then I also got from Disneyland Paris, I think is where it came from. I got the cutest Tsum Tsum Marie.
Of course. Because in Disneyland Paris, you can buy all 3 cats together as a stuffed animal set.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's what I brought home. I did. I brought home the cats. I stuffed them in my
Where?
bag. I did. I stuffed them in my bag along with my loft cat. And so I brought home 4 cats. That's kind of crazy. We are going to have more things to give away because I just got some stuff from Love and Madness, which we're going to review on the next episode. And we'll have some stuff to give away. So I was excited about that. But I figured while I was in the giving mood, also right now, I got from Incredibuilds, which is one of the books that was announced at San Diego ComicCon, the R2-D2 Star Wars Deluxe model and book set. So it's a piece, it's got wood in there and then a story about R2-D2, and you can actually build the R2-D2 model out of the wood that they supply. And so will give this away we will randomly pick out of the people who tweet. I have an awesome fan kid who listens to Fangirls Going Rogue, and you have to tweet that to us, okay? And you have to be following us. So that's the first giveaway tonight. So keep listening because there's more stuff to give away.
Ooh.
That's it. That's all they have to do.
So before we jump into our breakdown on the cons that we've been going to, we want to talk about a couple of trailers that are near and dear to our hearts and don't necessarily have anything to do with Star Wars, but we are so pumped about them that we have to talk about them. So the first one is the Wonder Woman trailer because holy bejesus, Tricia's getting her movie.
Lasso of truth. The lasso of truth, people. Lasso.
You're a man.
Yeah. I mean, do I not look like one?
It looked amazing. And oh, wait a minute. Chris Pine, people. Chris Pine.
Yeah, but here's the best part. That Chris Pine says,
I can't let you do this.
and I was like, oh, I can't wait for her response. And her response was something along the lines of,
what I do is not up to you.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't as excited for this movie in the beginning, before I saw this trailer, because it's DC, and DC lately has been kind of bombing out. I mean, Batman v Superman was terrible, in my opinion.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah. So I was like, I know they're doing Wonder Woman, but whatever. I know Chris Pine is in it, who's like one of my favorite actors, but And then this trailer came out, and yeah, I mean, amazing. And you see her sword, you see this incredible dress she wears, you see this island where she comes from and her Amazon women people, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, and I've been on my blog for years now, had the hashtag Wonder Woman or bust for as far as getting a movie done. So for me, over the top excited. I never thought I would see the day that I was watching a Wonder Woman trailer, and I can actually tie this in a little bit to Star Wars. Okay. That people talk about this, that Rey was a brave move. She is the first superhero movie we've seen in the new age of blockbusters, and I think that her success is going. I mean, we saw Captain Marvel announced at San Diego Comic-Con. There was so much excitement for this Wonder Woman trailer on the internet, and I feel like the studios are going, okay, ladies will go to geek movies and we can put them in front and center. So yay!
Yeah, I'm really pumped for it. I took it, I was watching it on YouTube on my phone, and I streamed it to my TV and forced my husband to watch it.
Yep,
Did you see the Wonder Woman Barbie?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So is it just Barbie wearing Wonder Woman clothes?
No, it's awesome. It's like super awesome. So go search Wonder Woman Barbie, and you're going to want and it's not cheap, but it's really awesome.
Wonder Woman
I know, right?
Barbie. Looking it up now as we speak. Ah, crap sauce.
Whoa.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Are you getting it, Trisha?
Oh.
Of course I am, if I can get it. I can't even get hold of like the Ahsoka black figure or the Rey Starkiller Race one. So I just feel like this might be one of those unobtainables as well. So
all right, there was another trailer though that came out, and I realized we're going to from one extreme to the other. From an amazing female superhero led, just all girl powered out movie to Lego Batman.
Hello, Master Bruce. I've just taken away your computer privileges.
Gasp!
Sir, it's time for you to stop this unhealthy behavior. You can't spend the rest of your life alone, dressed in black, and staying up all night.
I just can't wait. I have no words. I have no words because he has a kid.
You need to take responsibility for your life, and it starts by raising your son.
I'm sorry. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
The young orphan you adopted at the gala.
I thought I was being sarcastic.
it is. It's pretty funny. I I don't know if people realize this, but during the Future Filmmakers panel, they showed the Millennium Falcon scene from the Lego movie during it. And then Pablo Hidalgo's like, well, everybody tweet that you saw an exclusive clip during the Future Filmmakers panel and that Batman is now canon. And he says, because nobody's seeing this live stream. So I don't know if anybody did that, but it was pretty funny when he was like, everybody pawn the internet.
That was, but I can't wait. I love the Lego movies and I love the Lego games. I've been playing the heck out of Lego Dimensions as well as Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. And I just can't wait for the next thing. And if you haven't been watching Star Wars or Lego Star Wars The Freemaker Adventures, it's an amazing show. Like, Luke and Leia have been on it. There's Hutts involved. There's just all kinds of characters. There's a really strong female character, like actually two of them that are on every episode almost. And it's just like, it's actually really, really good. So if you haven't been watching it, you should.
Yeah, Maz Kanata was on it.
Yeah, recently. Yeah.
Everybody's in it. So we did there's a good write-up on the people who are producing that, writing it. They did a panel at Celebration Europe. So BJ did a really nice write-up of, they're totally into the storytelling. They think really hard about it. And they talked about how they created the show and the idea. And it got me really more excited for it, even though when I came home, I'm like, oh, I got to watch these. They're on my DVR.
Yeah. And the creators are really active on Twitter too. Like Bill Motz, and I think one is at Automatic Gravy.
Yes.
If you tweet hashtag Freemaker Adventures, they will most likely see it and start like tweeting at you.
Fun. Good stuff. I'm glad they're excited and I'm glad they're engaged.
Yes.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, Star Wars Celebration Europe and San Diego Comic-Con have both happened. And so now we get to break all of that down. We're actually going to start with San Diego Comic-Con because we have a guest with us, Jonah Macias from all over the place, but the WookieGunner.com is joining us to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So, hey, Jonah, how are you?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well.
So, Jonah, this was your first San Diego Comic-Con ever, right?
It was my first one, and I was excited. I didn't get a chance to get regular badges, so I went ahead and applied for press, and I thought, I'm not going to get recognized. I'm probably going to get denied. And then a few days after I got approved, I'm like, oh, well, I have to commit now. So yeah, the reason I ended up going was because I got this press badge. Otherwise, I wouldn't have access to it. And I was very thankful, very grateful. And I got to gather a lot of audio, not the best audio quality, but I got, some audio from the panels and pictures and such, and live tweeted some of the panels. And it was fun to just meet up with friends. I know that wasn't part of my press duties, but meeting up with friends was the best part of it all.
I think that's implied.
Yeah.
Because I know you volunteered too. How did you go about getting to volunteer for the Her Universe fashion show?
What ended up happening was when I had interviewed Ashley last year for my Halloween episode of Galactic Fashion before joining Jedi News Network, we had talked about the fashion show, and she's like, you should totally volunteer. And I thought that would be a great idea. So I went ahead and did that. I emailed Dan Madsen, who's the Her Universe publicist, and I emailed him, and he directed me over to Kat Carson, who's the VP of Her Universe. Hopefully I got those titles right. and she got me through to Jenna, who was my blue leader, as we called her, for our volunteering portion of Wednesday and Thursday of San Diego Comic-Con. And that was a fun experience. It was a lot of work. I actually was on the runway, not walking the runway, but cleaning the runway. It was very, backbreaking work. And I also had the chance of, the episode hadn't aired yet, so I got a chance to see the episode from the Her Universe Fashion Show docuseries that had Ahsoka's, that had Ashley's Ahsoka's dress. So when I saw that, I gasped, and I remember I was like, I need to take a picture. And by the time it went off to the next scene, I was just like, no, it was too late. So I didn't get a chance to take a photos, but I tweeted it. And I was just like, you guys are going to love this dress from that Ashley's going to wear tomorrow night. So that was a real treat. That was a showstopper. And actually, she had a second dress. She had a Rey dress that she was going to wear that night with a Millennium Falcon Lego purse. And she ended up not wearing it because they wanted her to wear the Ahsoka dress the entire night because it was that amazing of a dress. And it's the first Lego dress to have ever been incorporated into a fashion show. So that was pretty big, and they wanted her to just keep it on all night.
Did she take a break from it at least? Because that thing weighed like 25 pounds.
I know, and I don't think she did. I think she wore it the entire night.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Could she sit down?
Oh, you know what? I don't know about the sitting part.
I would think her shoulders would have been very sore maybe the day after.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And actually, speaking of the day after, she was at an interview with EW outside behind the convention center. And she was talking about the dress itself and how it was heavy, and they had it displayed beside her. So I was taking all these close-up photos, and my face was literally like right up against it. I'm like, this is amazing.
Well, I was jealous. I saw it. Now, just talk a little bit about the fashion show. Who won? What dresses won? So I think one of them was a Harry Potter dress.
Yes, one was the Harry Potter dress. That was the audience winner. And that was the one that when it was underneath heat or light, it would show the book, the
Marauders map.
The Marauders map.
Whoa.
And that was awesome. Yeah, and then once it walked away and was away from that heating element, it disappeared. So it had that appearing and disappearing effect. Yeah. So that was the audience winner. And the judges winner was the Furiosa-inspired dress from Mad Max Fury Road. And that was the designer had walked that one, that dress. And it looked beautiful. It was a mermaid-type dress. She had the awesome tattoo on her arm, and she also had shaved her head that same day. That was just awesome because, you want to support women who sport that sort of look. So that was amazing of her to do that. And yeah, those two women got nominated and won the show. And the third winner will be picked by people at home by watching the fashion show on Comic-Con HQ and voting at heruniverse.com.
Did you get to see Kelly or Lital, the winners from last year, at all while you were there?
I did. I saw them from afar. I actually didn't get the chance to speak to them in person. I wanted to introduce myself, but there was so much happening and I didn't get the chance. They just sit past me. I was like, no, they were heading over to be seated over at the judges table. So I didn't want to delay that since it's all being recorded and, there's a schedule to keep and whatnot.
Furiosa she's shaved in the movie, so she was going for the full-on Furiosa look. That's awesome.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that as well. Yeah, I forget. I've only watched the movie once, but I remember it being very interesting.
So you've been to New York Comic-Con, and how would you compare the two, just having been a New York Comic-Con regular to going to San Diego Comic-Con?
New York Comic-Con actually prepared me for San Diego Comic-Con in a way, just all the walking that's involved. But San Diego was like double the size of New York Comic-Con. So the exhibit floor was just immense. Like I remember walking all the way to the 100 aisle and looking down the main aisle that has all the the banners that display the numbers for each aisle, and I could not see the end of it. And that was pretty cool. And I think Justin Bolger had taken a picture of that and tweeted it out. So that's definitely one to look out for because it's really impressive that you cannot see the end of the convention center at all. But it was fun to walk through it. It was kind of hard at times because especially when you hit that middle point where you have Marvel and DC and they just happen to both have signings at the same time. So yeah, Black Panther was announced and the actor who plays Black Panther was there, and The Wonder Woman actress was also at the DC booth, so that was just impossible to get through.
I know. I've actually been to San Diego Comic-Con when there's like a grouping of Slave Leias, and I've been one of them, and yeah, you can imagine how the show floor just kind of shuts down in that area because it's just nuts. All the people who want to take pictures.
Taking pictures, and you have these guys shouting, move along, move along.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it's just like Star Wars.
It's like, we would move along, but there's people here.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the move along, that was the one thing that was sort of interesting. So on Wednesday night, you actually were on the con floor doing a Periscope for about 2 hours. And I was actually at home, so I watched the whole thing.
So that was exciting. I was just like, I got a Periscope at least once, and I did that for preview night, and it was the best night to do it because that was the quote unquote light time to do it because just there was not that many people, but it still was a lot of people on the floor, but this was the best time to do it.
One of the reason that I was bringing that up was because when you were in the Star Wars pavilion, when you stopped to look and just like to move the camera to show people the stuff in the booth, there was people going, move along, please, move along. And I was like, okay, I get it. So in San Diego Comic-Con, it's either you buy or you get out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up the Star Wars Pavilion. That was an awesome location. And it was just like the go-to site for meeting up with people. It's like, just meet at the Star Wars Pavilion. They had great booths there. Loungefly, Her Universe, Bio World was there, as well as Wheel of Fine and Tops and Del Rey. So that was just the go-to spot for everyone.
So did you buy anything there?
I personally didn't buy it. My friend bought it. Geek Girl Diva, who you all know as well. Mm-hmm. She was so kind and bought me the Rey backpack from Loungefly.
Wow.
And yeah, by the time I got out of my volunteering session, I wasn't going to be able to get there on time. So she thankfully got me one, and I quickly paid her after.
And you got the goggles, right?
I did. It came with the goggles, and it came with a collector's Rey pen. Yeah.
So I'm about to have that too. Yay!
Yay! It's a cool backpack. I really like the bottom portion where it's like a sort of a cylinder attached to the main body of the bag, and I just put my water bottle in there, and it just makes me feel so cool.
Oh, nice. Well, I have a question. In that Star Wars area, did Hasbro have a setup, including an AT-ACT?
Yes,
setup?
They did. And it wasn't at the pavilion itself. It was right next door.
Okay.
So you had to cross an aisle over. And yeah, that's where Hasbro was located. And they had the 6-inch figures from the Black Series up there, including Hera. It was a stunning figure. I can't wait to get my hands on that figure of Hera and Sabine. And yeah, and right across from those figures was this display of the AT-ACT, which is phone controlled, so you can have it walk. And that's so cool. I was just there walking and within the display case.
That's amazing.
We no longer need dogs. We can just have AT-ACT.
I know, that's right. Oh my gosh, you could attach a leash to it. A leash to it, I mean.
That's awesome. A leash.
My bad.
Where do you get leeches these days?
Where?
In swamps?
I don't know. In swamps? On Dagobah?
That's right.
Wow. All right, this took a turn.
I know. So we talked to you about this pre-show, but I just want to know how sad you are that you did not get your hands on an Ahsoka Advanced Reader's copy because they were available on Thursday and you were working the fashion show.
It was a very sad day. Yeah, I didn't get my hands on it, but I do have a copy that I got from a different convention. It wasn't even a convention, it was a library conference. And my friend happened to attend. I believe it was in Orlando.
So speaking of books, so you got to go to the books panel, and tell us a little bit about that and some of the things that they talked about.
Yeah, the book panel was fun. I like the way they arranged it. They started off with the youth books and then went into the young adult and then the Del Rey books that will be coming out later in the year. And so we had, I think the one that stood out to me the most was the ABC 3PO book by Katie Cook. And that was fun because they announced that there's a sequel to it and it's called OB-123.
That's so awesome.
Right? It's such an adorable book, adorable concept. So, and they also talked about other books such as the Jedi Academy books by Jeffrey. His name
Jeffrey
is
Brown.
Brown. Yes. So that was pretty neat. And I think the cover of the latest one includes two kids who are who represent diversity. So I thought that was awesome. The fact that you have these two children on the cover, and hopefully, I think they just recently came out. So hopefully people are adding it to their libraries and gifting it to younger children. And then they moved on to the Ahsoka arc. I remember that being a big moment in the panel. Everyone was clapping. And they also mentioned the Thrawn book that's coming up, having been revealed at Star Wars Celebration. So that was another moment where everyone was clapping. Actually, I think Thrawn got a bit more claps than Ahsoka. But yeah, that entire panel was just talking about books that are already currently in production, and there weren't too many reveals as to what's coming in the future.
So it was kind of a joint between Disney, Lucasfilm Press, and Del Rey.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Was DK there at all?
I believe so. Yeah, they had talked about some of the books that detail like the props and whatnot of the movies, and the names of those series are escaping me. But they also talked about the art of Rogue One, and that's coming out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had shown us the cover, and that was pretty neat. It features the droid whose name I don't remember from Rogue One, who's played by the actor's name, who I also
Alan
Alan
Tudyk. Alan Tudyk.
What is wrong with me tonight? Oh man.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's artwork by Doug Chang. I'm excited for all that, and a lot of it was repeat from what had happened at Star Wars Celebration Europe. They got a little bit of new stuff. I did see there is a video of it I saw it at Club Jade. So they have a video of that panel if you want to watch it all. But if you already saw the Celebration one, it's pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did they talk about the new Atlas at all?
No, they did not talk about that one. The one where where you see where Lothal is located. Is that the one?
Well, yes, but I'm just the Atlas that was originally done by Jason Fry and Dan Wallace is my favorite Star Wars book like ever, and so I need the new Atlas. Like I'm like an addict that does not have her Atlas.
No, they didn't talk about it. But if they do talk about it at New York Comic-Con, I'll definitely send tweets your way.
And then I think one of the last things you got to do was the Business of Geek Fashion panel, which you can actually hear on the latest episode. I think it's 14, right?
Yeah.
Of Galactic Fashion. We put that audio in, but tell us a little bit about how that panel went down and the kind of things they talked about.
Sure. So Lisa Granshaw, who is also a friend of Fangirls Going Rogue and Galactic Fashion, she was moderating the panel, and the panel included several people from Hot Topic, Ashley from her universe, as well as Wheel of Fine and Think Geek, and the newcomer, Hero Within, who was a company that's created by Tony Kim. And he created the company out of the need of having fashionable pieces for men. So that was pretty neat. So it's kind of like the Her universe for fanboys out there. And Hero Within actually had a lot of Tony Kim had a lot of great things to say, especially because he was in the audience seats last year listening to the Geek Fashion panel at San Diego 2015. So that was great for him to say that I was in your seat. So if I can do it, you can do it, and you can be up here with me. So that was very inspiring. And they talked about some of the trends that were happening over the past year, like the irregular choice shoes, fashion shows, and how fashion shows inspire people to go out and create some of their own pieces, and what's upcoming, what's the future of geek fashion like. And a lot of Ed LeBay from Hot Topic, he mentioned that he thinks that there's going to be a lot of winter formal apparel pieces, so that's going to be exciting to see. I know a lot of women want sophisticated pieces in their wardrobe, so I hope that we see more of that, especially for Star Wars in the future. And yeah, they basically said, the best way to go about it if you're looking to starting out a business is to try to get licensing. And they said that it's very intimidating, but it's worth it in the end. And it's expensive, but you always want to be on that side where you're creating pieces that are officially licensed by DC or Lucasfilm and so on and so forth.
If you guys look real close at Lynn Brennan in the Art of Storytelling panel, which you haven't watched from the videos from Celebration, she has a regular choice shoes on.
Does she?
Nice casual black pants, a little black jacket, and just her little irregular choice shoes. I was like, I noticed her shoes look a little Star Wars-y. So that was kind of a nice touch, for the woman who runs a major company.
Yeah. Why not?
So definitely check that out in the latest episode of Galactic Fashion to hear further details on geek fashion and geek fashion trends.
So now it's time for Star Wars Celebration Europe. So Tricia, you were the only one out of all of us that was at Celebration Europe, and we talked a little bit about it on our priority transmission, but tell us more about this. And how was it different from Anaheim?
The fans over there aren't quite as crazy as in America. And I mean that crazy in an awesome way. They're just a little more subdued. As I said on Skywalking Through Neverland, which we recorded an hour after the con closed, Richard would be on the over the top scale for over there. But he's in the normal range for a lot of the fans, but everybody was very friendly. Everybody was very polite and considerate. There was no raising of lightsabers when teasers came up, which, a lot of times everybody put their phones down, which didn't happen during the pan. Yes, it was, people followed the rules. They were very considerate, and I appreciated that on that end of the spectrum. It's a little bit smaller, and they don't go to panels like we do. You just didn't see the attendance at the panels that you see at Celebration. So that was just a little bit different.
Now, Tricia, did you follow the rules?
Of course I did.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering, since you're the crazy American over there.
After having done the whole Force Awakens panel and being in there and tweeting during it, I realized some of the experience in the panel and those exciting moments I missed because I was looking at my phone. So I knew people were going to tweet. No big deal. People are watching it. They're going to tweet. I just sat and absorbed it. There were some people in the media section with me who were typing, obviously, to get recaps up, and they were very, quiet, and they kept their screens down. But I just kind of sat there and absorbed it all and really paid attention to the process of how the panels unfolded, the story to them. I will say this, Dave Filoni's ability to hold a panel and to run it and to create an energy level through it like he's telling a story is unrivaled by anybody else. Some of the other panels felt a little disjointed. The Rogue panel, there was a glitch. There was some things that happened that just, made that panel seem a little bit not as, smooth. And I loved Gwendolyn Christie. I loved her energy, but she was presenting what Lucasfilm wanted us to hear and not necessarily maybe what the fans wanted to see. So that level was, I really hope that they go back and put a media person running their big panels, because the media people know what we want to hear. They're used to telling stories to us, so they ask different questions. I don't know how you guys felt watching, like nobody's seen the future filmmaker panel, which I have no idea why they didn't play it. There's nothing in that panel that I felt like was privileged or, was on a level that nobody could see it. It was very strange that they haven't aired it. And I hope one day they change their mind and put it up, because it probably would have helped people with feeling really excited about episode 8 and really excited about the Han Solo movie, because that was kind of when I heard Rian Johnson talk. I was like, oh, dude, I think this movie's just going to be killer.
Wow.
I do have to say that I was really excited for the lack of people going to panels, the number of people who went to my STEM panel. So, so the STEM Heroes and Heroines of Star Wars panel was, for me, one of my highlights. I ended up with Hannah Gillis from Lucasfilm ILMX Labs. She's a project manager on the Trials of Tatooine virtual reality. If you talk to anybody who experienced that, they say it's the best thing that they did at the con. Cole Horton, after the con, said it might be the best thing he's ever done in his whole life. So, that's, he was really excited about it. And he got to go after our panel, because we ended up with Diana Williams from the story group, which, Jonah, you went to see her speak. She hosted the panel. She moderated it. I pitched it. She actually threw out Hannah's name in the process of me asking for Lucasfilm for somebody to come on. And she's so into STEM and just doing it. And it was really cool just to see, not just getting to meet her, but they brought out everybody from the story group. And, at different times, not my panel, over the course of the convention. And so we got to see everybody who's working on Star Wars. And it just kind of was neat to finally see different voices and see what they're excited about. And I know that Diana Williams was just so excited to find a way to see STEM brought out in Star Wars, and then listen to all of us talk about it. And we will have audio. It was a little rough in that room because the people in the panel, we did not have a full wall. So the Star Wars live show was going on, and that sound was coming in, and the people on the table for the panel could hear that. The people in the room could hear us, but we could not hear them. So, and we could not hear the other people on the panel very well. And so that was very difficult. And when people asked questions near the end, we actually ended up having them come up and ask us at the table, because it was, and Cole Horton did his World War II panel later on. He had to do the same thing. And so that was it's very hard when you're nervous and you end up in that kind of, I can't hear, then it's a little bit difficult, but it didn't take down the enthusiasm of everybody. So it's Kevin Benches from TK421 website. He's a biologist. And then Hannah Gillis, who does coding and project management at Lucasfilm, myself, and James Floyd, which most people know from Club Jade or just being a happy Del Rey fanboy and also just a good person. He's run the bounty hunt at Celebration, and he was working the main stage at Celebration at Europe. And then Diana Williams and Cole Horton, who does EA stuff and then also author of Star Wars books. So, oh my God, we just had a great time. And Diana Williams saying, would you like to meet Hannah? I want you to see what she does. I got to go into the ILMX lab and do the Trials of Tatooine. And I was like having an emotional experience. So I'm sure they'll bring something different. They announced the new Darth Vader experience, which maybe that will be ready for the time we get to the next Celebration. I highly recommend doing that experience. I will also tell you that when I walked up to the booth to do it. They were opening the floor on the first day, and there were people running to it, and the tickets were gone in 20 minutes. By the time I went into the experience, the tickets were out for that day.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's really cool experience, but it's going to be in high demand, and hopefully one day we can all do it in our living room. In this one, you're on Tatooine, the Millennium Falcon comes down, and then Han Solo's talking to you. R2-D2 comes down the ramp, and Han Solo's ordering you to help R2 fix this part of the Falcon. You press buttons and fix it. And I had a little trouble understanding that I should pull down the piece of the Millennium Falcon, but they helped me. They said, you just grab it, and you grab it, and it pulls down, and then you're pushing the buttons, and TIE fighters come. And then Han Solo says, we got to get out of here. Here's something to defend the droid. And R2-D2 hands you the lightsaber.
Wow.
And then the stormtroopers are running, and you deflect blaster bolts, and you duck behind boxes and try not to get hit, and you kill stormtroopers. And yes, I did get to deflect blaster bolts back into stormtroopers, which is like the most awesome thing ever. So
are you actually physically touching anything while you're doing this?
You have you have the headset over your ears, the piece over your eyes. You're connected and wired in, and then you have a mechanism in your hand. And it felt like when you got the lightsaber, that it felt like it had weight. I don't know, because you don't know what your brain is doing and tricking you with things, but it felt heavy. Like it felt like something was heavier was in your hand.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then if you move, like try to move too far forward, these blue lines pop up that kind of tell you your boundaries. And there's also a person in the room kind of making sure you don't kill yourself and probably laughing their butt off at you. They got to do this for 3 days, so you can imagine. And Hannah stayed in the room with me, and I talked to her a little bit about it. And this is just, they don't know where they're going to go with this, but it's not a movie. It's an experience, and it's about creating an experience in Star Wars. So maybe in the theme parks or something, we'll see it.
Yeah. Wow.
Now y'all jealous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. This must be something different, because I've experienced going to some of these press events. I've experienced, like, Jungle Book had a virtual reality headset you put on, and, the snake slithers around you, but it was nowhere near as, like, life-changing as this ILM X Lab experience seems to be. So, yeah.
Did you do the VR at the press event before The Force Awakens?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I mean, that one, you just put the headset on, you kind of got to look around.
Right.
And so that was Tatooine. So I think that was kind of the base model of it. But from what I understood, just talking to Hannah real quickly, is essentially they came up with a concept, and essentially the first concept was just flying the Millennium Falcon down, and then they pushed the boundaries more and more. So and they talked about in the art of storytelling that this is an experiment. It's an experiment in what can we do with our technology, but they actually used it for Rogue One, for Gareth Edwards. He needed to understand what the inside of the one ship that we see in the sizzle reel, that when she says, may the force be with us, and that ship, he needed to understand what it was and how he could film in it. And they actually mocked it up and put him in the virtual reality and let him look around. And he said, well, I could use this door back a little bit so I could film, and I could use this, push the engine piece back a little bit. That gives me more room. And he could actually do set design in a virtual reality. So that's the biggest use of it for movie making at this point. But so there's all sorts of ways that we could experience Star Wars in different ways. But I don't know, did you guys see the footage of Carrie Fisher surprising Andy Gutierrez on Star Wars Show Live at Celebration?
So sweet.
Yeah.
I think Gary walked out first.
Yes, Gary walked out first.
Yeah. So, but my new favorite Star Wars family pet is Millie, Mark Hamill's dog. Because when they brought Carrie and Mark out for the future filmmakers, their dogs came out with them. And Millie, she went all the way down the line, went back. Mark sat down in the chair, and she went over and just hopped up on his lap, and she turned around and looked at the audience like, hey, everybody here, everybody's here to see me, and I'm the star. And that was like the best. So, I mean, that was one of the best moments. And then John Boyega coming out. It's really, I'm like so in love with Millie now. And I think there's a friendly rivalry because Mark had to say how many Instagram followers she had compared to Gary. So we've had a lot of insight on Fangirl blog, like details, kind of breakdowns, not recaps. We don't do recaps on the blog. We kind of do holistic analysis of things that happened and what went down. So it was really a fun con, and I hope that they do more overseas and maybe they go to Asia next time. Although I would go back to London. I liked London.
Oh, did you? I love the fact that fans from Celebration and even fans at home thought that the Star Wars Rebels panel was the one that really won Celebration.
It by far won Celebration, by far. And it was, one of the problems with the Rogue panel was there were bands that were given out that people did not come. So there was a big section that was empty. And so they were kind of bringing in people that from, in during the middle of it. So some of the energy just wasn't there because there wasn't as many people in the room. And then there were a little bit of the technical glitches, but you could tell, I know people were watching it, were really excited, but there was sort of like a audible, like when Wedge came up in the trailer.
Rebels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For Rebels, everybody sort of went, there's like just a little hop. And then I think it was pretty soon you saw that image. And if you were a longtime Star Wars fan, you were like, I think that's Thrawn. I think that's Thrawn. But they didn't say it. Like it was like this long foreplay to getting to the moment.
You know what it's like? It's like that moment when you're watching The Force Awakens for the first time and you see the lightsaber start to jiggle in the snow. You're like, wait, is that going to go too? Is that going to go? Yes! And yeah.
Exactly. So there was definitely this sort of, oh my gosh. And then the room just went crazy. And of course, then there was a standing ovation and nobody would sit down. Like it was, and I heard from people on the floor, they're like, yeah, we heard, like we could hear the Rebels panel. Like we could hear the fans. Like I said, it just rolled across the floor, the noise. And then everybody's like, what's happening? And because they hadn't heard that kind of noise from, it's a little bit different. It's not an auditorium. It's a theater they make out of the con area. It's about half as big as we had at Anaheim. And you could hear the airplanes taking off from the airport, like going right overhead sometimes. So it was a very different experience than that theater in
Anaheim.
So,
well, that's exciting that you were there, and thank you so much for being there and doing an actual, Fangirls Going Rogue show.
That was one of the highlights too. So you guys can listen to that live with Anthony Bresnikan. So we were so excited he came, and we probably could have just let him talk for 45 minutes, but we wanted to give everybody a taste of it. So we had the DK authors on, and I definitely thought that it was we were packed. It was a little area, but there were people standing room only. There were probably twice as many people standing around the area than sitting. And I want to thank Patty for helping out, for handing out buttons and all that stuff. So it was a really good time. And Riley's awesome from Star Wars Report. He can get a crowd amped. And Bethany was great I think she had taken like 6 finals, had no sleep, and had just flown in. So bless her heart.
Oh my gosh. Wow. The Force was with her. It
was.
Well, it sounds like you had an incredible time, Tricia.
I did. I wanted to, as we kind of wrap up this con recap, Hollywood Reporter had an article about that Star Wars Celebration was way more about the fans than the media. and how that was a good thing in this age of San Diego Comic-Con, where they're just making a lot of big announcements. So Jonah, you've been there, and did you get that feeling that when having been to Celebrations that there was a different vibe in San Diego? And do you prefer that a con is about the fans, or what are your feelings on that?
I thought I really wanted to go to the big panels. Like I wanted to do the whole Hall H experience, but that never really worked out. But I thought it was a great blend of fans getting what they wanted and then the media being present and, putting out their content. And I thought it was a great blend of the two. And I didn't feel overwhelmed by the fact that fans weren't being included for something or didn't get anything that they wanted from there. I thought most of the time I was catching up in the night with tweets, and everyone seemed very pleased with the stuff that was coming out of there. So that's my opinion of it. That's how I took away from San Diego Comic-Con personally.
Well, good. I mean, everybody has a different experience. It depends on what you want. Hall H is overrated. Also, having been there. So, but I mean, it's fun to be in the room. There were complaints from major media in the celebration. As I'm sitting around media, they were kind of like, oh, well, we need to sit here because we need to film during the panels. And I'm like, but you don't need to film because they're live streaming it to the fans. So you're not getting a better content than they're going to get with their production quality cameras that are, set up and have the sound and everything. And I appreciate that it wasn't all about the media. Took care of their fan media very well at Celebration Europe. So having been to both cons, San Diego is like a monster, and it's one of those things that people should probably do in their life. But when you go to Celebration, everybody's there for the same reason. So everybody is there and they're Star Wars fans, and you can see everything, go like, oh yeah, okay, I know what you're doing. So I understand your fandom.
And one other thing I wanted to add was that at San Diego, there was also Comic-Con HQ. So it was kind of like the Star Wars live show equivalent. And they would record and show some of their content through ComicConHQ.com. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. And it is a paid subscription service, but it's only like $5 a month or something like that. So you can, pay for the $5 and watch everything you need to watch and then log off. So I highly recommend it. And that's how I caught up with a lot of the content that I wanted to see.
There's something about, I think, Tricia, I really like that concept of it being for the fans and not so much for the media. And that's one of the things I love about Dragon Con, because it's basically all fans and all the panels are fan based and stuff. And I love that about it. Also, I love that you can just sit in one place and the con passes you.
Sarah, do you have a favorite preference? Or I know you go to D23 too, so you have even more insight.
Well, my first experience with a con was San Diego Comic-Con 2008. And it was very overwhelming. It wasn't quite as crazy as it is now because the movie, industry has taken over. However, I remember having to go outside on the lawn with my Harry Potter novel that had just come out and just reading that for part of the afternoon because I was just so overwhelmed with the, inside of the con. But then when Star Wars Celebration 7 came to LA, that was my first Star Wars celebration, and I didn't schedule a lot of time to go because of my overwhelming thing with the San Diego Comic-Con, but the days that I did go, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have to go more. So, and ever since then, I've blocked off all time ever to do Star Wars Celebrations. So Star Wars Celebrations would have to be my favorite, followed by D23 Expo, which of course is the Disney convention, just because of, the conventions that are they're more focused into universes that I love are the ones I like more, because you have to filter out less stuff that you don't like. And there's more people who are more like you. Yeah. So
yeah, that's a really good point.
I appreciate those kind of conventions, and unfortunately, they keep on getting more crowded every year. Like D23 Expo, the first year, I think it was 2009, like you could just walk right in the doors at 8 a.m. Now there's this huge mess of trying to get in and lines everywhere and all this business, but it's still fun if you have a media pass.
Well, yeah, one of my con like I want to go to is because there are some for Harry Potter exclusively. Ooh. So I want to do one of those, but I really want to do a BronyCon, like so bad, because I would be surrounded by rainbows and ponies, and it would be the best thing ever.
But isn't that already your daily life?
Not as much as I'd like for you.
Okay, I just wondered.
That's getting there. It's getting there. All right. Well, one last thing, and then we'll let Jonah go. I want to talk about Rey cosplayers, because there was an article that Chris Agaropoulos had tweeted out, and I actually retweeted it. And he was talking about, the article was talking about that one of the most common cosplays that has been seen at San Diego ComicCon and Celebration is Rey. And so, Jonah, did you see a lot of Reys?
Oh, yeah. I lost count at one point because I made the effort of counting, and I really did. I got past maybe 15, and I'm just like, okay, that's it, I'm done. It was a lot of, and it was on each day. Each day I saw a different Rey. It was of all ages, from little kids to older women. It was just pretty impressive, the fact that this character has just won the hearts of so many people.
Did you see any male Reys?
I did see 2.
Nice. Did you see any variants? Like I saw a Jasmine Rey.
Ooh. And I have to do a Tinker Rey at some point.
Yes, you did.
Tinker Rey.
So cool. My friend on Twitter, Jammy Jim, I never remember her Twitter name, but she actually cosplayed as a Rapunzel.
Oh, cool.
Right? That was so cool. And she had colored, she had a little BB-8 and she colored it the same colors as Pascal. Aww. So that was very neat on her part. And I think she was featured on the Disney Style blog and a few other places. So that was great that she got featured there.
Wow.
It's not just the Reys. I mean, there's so many other characters. People can be Jin. I saw a lot of older Leias from the Force Awakens costumes. I saw you have the Hutt Slayer Leia. I saw, Ahsoka's, tons of them, tons of Sabines, Hera's, so there's so many more options. You don't just have, you can be Leia or Padme. I did see some beautiful Padme costumes.
All right, awesome. Well, Jonah, thank you so much for joining us on Fangirls Going Rogue for this con breakdown. And where can people find you if they want to follow your stuff?
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me. It was a blast. And you can also find me on Twitter as @BlueJGuys, and that's blue, the color blue, JAIG, and the word eyes. And you can also find me on the WookieGunner.com. That's Wookie with 2 E's. I keep getting people going to Wookie with the 1 E, which leads you nowhere. I had to buy the site too, but I don't have the funds right now. And and you can also find me on fangirlnextdoor.com, where Teresa and I write up all the geek fashion stuff. Well, not geek fashion, just geeky things in general.
We do geek fashion.
Yes, we do.
We do anything. And I'm going to talk about your podcast, because you didn't plug your podcast.
Oh, so
yeah, she does.
Yes.
Yeah, she does lots of podcasts. Hanging with Team Kanan, which started out going over the Kanan comics, has kind of evolved into a Kanan Ezra love
appreciation.
Fest. Yeah, it's awesome. Her new show, Star Scavengers, which is focused on Lego Star Wars, the Freemaker Adventures, and also you can find me over there doing reviews of Lego sets. And then Galactic Fashion, which is our show where we talk about geek fashion, and Rebel Chat that she does with her mom.
My moms.
Moms. And did I forget anything?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Yep. So if you're interested, all those shows I post on thewookiegunner.com. So definitely check them out. They're fun, I think. I laugh a lot.
Nice. Well, we need more laughter. Thank you for being on, Jonah.
Thank you.
So as we said on the last episode, we're bringing back a segment that we started a long time ago in a galaxy not so far away, but it's back and we're going to keep going with it. So it is our collecting segment, and we wanted to talk about the 2 or 3 things that we're most excited from all of the conventions that are happening and things we want to add to our collection. So what I figured is that we'd kind of go like one at a time and kind of go around.
Sounds
We'll
good.
just go, in alphabetical order. So that means we start with Sarah.
All right. Well, so these are things that either we have acquired since the cons or want. So for me, immediately upon Dave Filoni announcing that he had designed some Ahsoka cards in the Star Wars card trader app on the phone, I went and started buying packs. Buying packs. Because lately, I haven't been too into the card trader app, but I've tried to log in every day to get my credits. So I had amassed about 3 million credits. So
Wow, nice.
I know. It's true. So just for moments like these, I tend to lean toward the cards that are illustrated by, different people. So this was the perfect thing for me. I think I spent about 100,000 credits at least trying to get all 10 of the cards. Actually, it was probably more than that. I don't know how much it was, but anyway, I have acquired all 10 of Ahsoka designed, or of Dave Filoni's Ahsoka designed cards, and they are gorgeous. And I so want to talk with people about what they mean.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He said definitely you might find some things in those cards.
Yeah.
Like meaning and stuff like that, but he didn't show them all. So I want to look at them more, and maybe we'll have a talk about that on another episode.
I think we should flag that too.
Yeah, we definitely should. Yeah, I have 3 of the 10. I didn't have enough credits to really go after all of them, but I do have 3 of the 10. But the nice thing about the card trader app is you can go into the checklist, and so you can actually look at all of them.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you can see what they are. You can see what they are without actually owning them, but I do have 3 of them, so
okay.
I'm a little proud of myself.
Well, awesome.
They were hard to get.
They are hard to get. And then the second thing that I now have not acquired yet, but saw at the Loungefly booth, I saw a picture of this at the Loungefly booth at San Diego ComicCon, was the Loungefly Ewok wallet. Because I am in the market for a wallet, and it looked so cute with his little fuzzy ears sticking out, and I just love bags of any kind, even though I have a lot of bags, but I still want more, because I'm a girl.
No, of course.
So that Loungefly Ewok wallet really caught my eye. And as for that, I'm not the biggest collector, so I'm going to stop my list there for now.
She's holding back. Teresa.
Wait a minute. No. Lothcat from Star Wars Celebration Europe would be fun. So if I can find that somewhere online, that might be fun. Okay.
Okay. All right. So for me, I actually had 4 things on here, but one of them I'm still unsure of exactly where I'm going to get it or how or who it belongs to as far as who made it. So I'm just going to table that until I figure all that out. But Wheel of Find did a BB-8 dress similar to the R2-D2 dress with the sleeves and the pockets, and it was at San Diego ComicCon. And so right now it's still currently an exclusive for the con, but they did say, because we had Jonah Marie ask, and it will be released online at some point. So I'm waiting for that. And I checked today, it's not there. So I did go look, and it's not there yet. And then, of course, the Hera and Sabine Black series figures, and Ahsoka is still on my list too. So all my girls, where are my girls at? And then the last thing is actually something that I have sort of acquired, meaning somebody got it for me, but I don't have it yet. And that's the Hallmark itty bitties that were exclusive for San Diego ComicCon. They will also be at New York ComicCon. They take them to both. And this year it was Jabba the Hutt and Slave Leia, and they are as cute as can be and adorable. And if the reason I have to have these is because as long as I keep getting the con ones, I have every single Star Wars itty bitty that has ever been made. So I have been saved. So thank you, Erish Chernovice from Del Rey, because you rock.
Did you fall off?
Punctuated. Bye.
No, my phone fell off my lap.
Well, yeah, as I said, I may have a loth cat in my collection. And so I'm with Sarah on that. They're very cute. And the funniest thing was Dave Filoni asking as Full of Sith dubbed us the podcaster supergroup that came in to interview him. If you haven't heard those interviews, please go check them out on our Party Transmission. But yes, he wanted to know if all the loth cats had been adopted yet. He was very concerned about that. So hopefully they all got homes, and either that or they will hit the Repop site, I'm sure, at some point. I really want the Rey Resistance outfit, Hot Toys 1/6 scale that came out that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con. I was like, oh my gosh, don't tempt me, please. But we do know that is going to be a costume, an outfit that she is wearing in episode 8, because they did reveal at the filmmakers panel that episode 8 picks up exactly at the end of episode 7. So that is a costume from the movie. So I'm like, well, I can just call it my episode 8 figure and then not buy any others, but
that's not going to happen.
I tried. Okay. And then I definitely want the Jyn Black series, and I'm going to have to go out on the interwebs and probably pay a lot of money on eBay, but that was the one that was at San Diego Comic-Con that looked really awesome. But
that will be out in stores later this year.
But it won't have the exclusive box. So yeah, I can get it later on, but it's cool to have that extra special little box on it. But as I said, I can't even find the Ahsoka and the Starkiller base Rey. So I'm still searching for those. So please.
Well, I just found an auction on eBay for Kanan and Ahsoka for only $48.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad.
So now we know what we want, and we want to know what you guys want from all the new stuff out there. So make sure that you give us out on Twitter or on Facebook and tell us what you want from all this new stuff that came out from the conventions, because we'll probably get tempted and put something else on our list.
That's right. Please tweet at us at FG Going Rogue. All right, Rob Dellinger, roll it.
Shout it out to the social media from Teresa and Trisha and Sarah. Shout it out, fangirl shout outs.
It is shout out time. So we love it when you guys tweet at us or post on our Facebook, and we had lots of great feedback on our Priority Transmission episode. So let's get into this. Trisha, do you want to read that first one?
Well, we've had a lot, but these are actually questions where I asked on Facebook what people wanted us to answer questions about. So the first one was from Ross Herford, and he said he wanted to know, I'll read it from him, quoting him, your opinion on how, even though we have female protagonist in Rogue One, she is still the only female in the main story. In the EU and new canon books, Leia would be accompanied by other interesting female characters. Should Lucasfilm and Disney be pushing harder for equal representation in their movies? And Ross, I appreciate your question because I have thoughts on that. I do have thoughts on that.
Trisha, you?
I never have thoughts on that. Yes, we still need more women represented, and this is a fictional story. So I don't know if anybody saw the concept art for the Rogue crew that was put up during the Rogue panel that had 2 women in the Rogue team. And they changed it apparently to 1 woman, and there was an alien in the center of that group, and now they have 1 woman and a bunch of other men. And it's a very diverse cast, but there's not a lot of women in that movie that we've seen yet. Now, you never know, things can change, but we're definitely at this point where we've had a lot of victories, but still, as I was sitting and looking at all the panels and looking at all the panels even at San Diego Comic-Con, we still haven't reached a point where this is, if you look at the history of moving forward for representation of women on screen and in books, there's always a backlash. There's always a fallback. And this is the treacherous time. So like you looked at the publishing panel for the Star Wars books at San Diego Comic-Con, there was 1 woman and I believe 7 men on that panel. And it's important not just to push for the characters, but to push for the women and diverse people telling the stories. We were presented with a lot of male directors. We were presented with a lot of male authors. All the books coming out from that were presented to us for adult novelizations are being written by men from the adult side. So, now we're back in this sort of territory, and there was a lot of talk in that of, well, this person's going to be writing or doing the artwork. And so it's not just the characters we should ask about, it's who's telling the stories, because that will help change what we see on screen. So thank you, Ross, for asking, for giving me an opportunity to answer that question that has been in my, it's not even a question, it's something that I feel very strongly about. So on to the next question.
Sure. So Chickafant, our good friend of the show, wrote us on Facebook and said, since Rogue One is a standalone movie and there will probably not be a sequel to it that continues the stories of the new characters we get introduced to, and if they all survive, how invested should fans get with these characters? It's not like we have several years between movies where we could get additional stories about these characters as well as a plethora of new Rogue One merchandise. Early next year, the focus will return to the saga films and those characters as we prepare for the release of Episode 8. Will there be enough time for the characters of Rogue One to cement themselves into the Star Wars universe before we have to turn our attention to the next news story? I think it's a good point, although the way I see Star Wars fans is they find a character they like and they latch onto it and they talk about it and cosplay it and do all kinds of stuff with it forever. So I don't think we necessarily need to have a sequel, or there's no reason that we shouldn't get invested in the characters, especially in the book world. It happens all the time. There's characters that are in one novel and then you never see or hear from them again, and they still have fans that are super invested in their story. So for me, I think we should get just as invested with these characters as we do with the ones from the saga films. That's just me. Do you guys have any thoughts?
Well, I think that, Rogue One is a standalone movie, so I don't think there are any plans for sequels. However, and then I think Chickafant brings up a good point in that if they all survive, I don't think all these characters are going to survive, trying to steal those Death Star plans. That's kind of a big mission there. So even though how much we're learning about the characters beforehand, I wouldn't be surprised if at least half of them bite the dust before the end of this film. That's just my opinion.
The power of positive thinking.
I know I'm usually not that way, but yeah, I guess that's what I think. But I don't think there's any harm in being invested in them.
I think of Ahsoka because we all thought, well, she's not in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Anakin doesn't have a Padawan. And we also think about Rex because Rex wasn't in Revenge of the Sith either. And somehow they managed to think of a way for her to not be a Jedi. And also, if people saw the Ahsoka Untold Tales panel, and if you haven't, you should get out your hankies. Dave Filoni tells a little bit about the things we would have seen in the Clone Wars, which included Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka reuniting, and Ahsoka being handed off half of the 501st as she fought the Siege of Mandalore, and she was going to get Rex as the leader of that group. So the possibilities of these characters being branched into other areas. So probably not all of those characters will survive, but the important ones. And also, once we like a character, it's possible for them to write backstories for them. Like, how did they get to be a rebel fighter? Like, what brought them into being part of this adventure, which will be fun too. So you never know who you're going to get attached to. So I don't worry about it at this point. I just go in and say, I want to be told a really good story, and maybe I'll get invested in a character, because, you know, we all thought, oh, Ahsoka's not going to make it, and she did.
Yeah.
So the expanded universe got some love the last 2 weeks. They got Thrawn, and then in the fan voting from Natalie Roberts, she wants us to just mention that the Jaina Solo won the Black Series figure vote for fan favorite. Jaina Solo was neck and neck with Starkiller for the vote. And I actually went to bed and was like, Jane is not going to win, because she was ahead, like 70% the first day. She had 70% of the votes. And then as more people voted over the week, she went down and she was probably 3 or 4% behind. And I got a message from Kay, and then there were a bunch of people from the Star Wars Books fandom who were all rallying, and they were like, come on, vote for Jaina. And somehow it was Starkiller, Jaina. And by the time they closed it, it was like a half an hour before the panel, and everybody's like, and then they announced it, and they're like, Jaina wins. And so that was really exciting to see that. So I think there's just a lot of enthusiasm from the people who were, yay, another character. I mean, it doesn't make her canon. It just means that we're going to get an action figure for her. So,
right. Well, I found that was funny, because we were just talking with Kai Charles on episode 130 of Skywalking Through Neverland, who was mentioning that panel. She was in that panel at San Diego ComicCon, and she said that when Jaina Solo won, and the votes that got ahead, you know, in the last 30 minutes, she's like, I wonder if Trisha Barr was tweeting or, you know, voting over and over and over again. So she thought of you.
She did. She tweeted at me, and I actually there was Jay Shaw on Twitter and Kay for Fangirl, and I know that Tashi Station people were all, you know, out there lobbying. I also know Rebel Force Radio was lobbying for Starkiller. Obviously, you know, Sam Witwer plays the character. So there was everybody in there kind of, but I did vote on every device I had in the house. So I figured that my BB-8 purse voted, and I voted, and my cat voted, and my dogs voted. So
there you go.
I'm sure Starkiller fans did the same thing too.
Nice.
So anyway, we do appreciate that you guys respond and give a lot of awesome feedback, tweet about our shows, and say how much you enjoyed it. And we talked about Han Solo last time on our character discussion, and lo and behold, I went to Target and I found a Han Solo Disney Infinity figure, and I said, you know what, I'm going to get this and I'm going to give it away to our fans, because I think that Han Solo will live forever in our hearts. And I was actually really excited after seeing the Han Solo panel discussion at Celebration. So we're going to give away a Han Solo Disney Infinity figure to the person who has the best tweet that includes the hashtag Han Solo Lives, and also at FG Going Rogue. So you can say whatever you want about Han Solo Lives. We'll pick the best tweet, and we'll give you a week after the show, and then we'll give away that Disney Infinity figure. So 2 giveaways this show.
Wow. Awesome.
Sidious, Anakin, Luke and Leia, Qui-Gon Jinn, C.O. Bibble, Kylo Ren, Salacious Crumb, Bib Fortuna, Boba Fett, Amidala, Wicket, R2-D2, BB-8, I can barely keep it straight. It's a character discussion. It's the Fangirls on Character. It's a character discussion.
So as always, we have our character discussion for the show, and this one was easy. There was just no contest because Grand Admiral Thrawn, or actually, I guess we don't know what his official title is going to be in the new actual canon, but we are going to talk about Thrawn on this episode because it was definitely the moment that rocked Star Wars Celebration Europe. And we talked about it a little bit on the priority transmission, but now it's time to really get into it. So who out of the three of us was shocked that Thrawn was going to be on Rebels? Me.
I was shocked too. I know, Trisha, I don't think you were quite as shocked.
No, and you know what? I'm saying this. There was the Callus figure that was blue in the concept art, and then there was the line that Ahsoka says there's some truth to legends in season 2, and I just had this feeling that he was the natural character, and then Dave Filoni said he was going to expand our universe, and I was like, oh no, it's happening. But I didn't believe it until the moment happened, but I felt like Thrawn was a really natural fit to bringing over from the Expandiverse. And there's going to be other characters, I'm sure, that will there's good characters in Expandiverse, and who they'll be, we have no idea, and we can all hope that. But I think the reaction from the fandom probably helped solidify the mindset of Lucasfilm that it's not that we're good with it. Like, you know,
we're okay with this.
That doesn't mean that Heir of the Empire is canon or the Thrawn trilogy is canon. It just means that that character has come over and now he is part of canon. He will be a little different. He won't have the Ilsar Miri. Did I say that right?
Who knows? I say Salamari. You know, it's all different.
Yeah,
everyone says it different.
So the Force bubble, and Dave Filoni explained that. He said that it doesn't work with their concept of the Force that they worked out with George Lucas, and essentially that if something's a living thing, it's part of the Force, so there can't be something that negates the Force. So they have that nod in the trailer where you see the kind of looking creatures that we know from the art, but you know, things will be a little different. But I still think that kind of brilliant tactician is a natural fit to especially Rebels.
Definitely.
Well, and Sarah, you've read the Thrawn book, so how was this news for you?
Well, I mean, for me, honestly, when I saw the trailer and knew that Thrawn was coming back, it hit me very emotionally, and I didn't even think that it would until it did. You know, it was like one of those emotional shockwaves, like, why am I crying? But, but when I thought about it, for me, when I got into Star Wars fandom was exactly when those novels were coming out, Heir to the Empire and the whole trilogy there. So my early fandom has to do with those books and then watching, you know, the original trilogy over and over again. And so those novels just kind of expanded my universe, and I remember reading them over and over again and just like seeing these images in my head of all the characters and what they were like. So out of all the expanded universe novels, that Timothy Zahn trilogy is the one that really sticks with me and that I've read the most over the years. So I was really excited to hear that Thrawn would be back.
Now, are either of you going to be, I don't know, jarred or disappointed when you get the version of Thrawn that is going to be in Rebels and then the version of Thrawn that Timothy Zahn is going to write in the new novel, and the fact that it's probably going to be different from the Thrawn that you currently know?
I'm not. They're working with Zahn. I mean, they're working with the man who created this character. They told him he's writing the book. Really, the characters are, especially if you do any type of acting, that characters can embody different performances, different ways. There's alternate universes. We see a million versions of Batman, of Superman in storytelling. So this is sort of what's the spirit of the character as far as cunning. They still had that nod to the artwork. They uses artwork to steady people. So I worry about Sabine, and I worry about. He actually makes me more scared for the Rebels than Darth Vader did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Vader's supposed to go in and take care of Jedi. So I'm like, all right, Kanan and Ezra, but I feel like Kanan and Ezra are pretty safe in this kind of story about Jedi that is within Rebels, but I feel like some of the other characters aren't as safe, but they're not really going to get in the way. Vader's not going to deal with them. They're not the big problem. So, Thrawn's in there for a very specific reason, which is to deal with the factions that are happening. But I also think it's natural. We see the rebels coming together, and we're also seeing signs from Rogue One that the Empire is starting to splinter a little bit. So this brings a different faction into, we see Director Krennic. We know that Director Krennic doesn't work well with Vader. And then we have Thrawn, who might have his own agenda. And so that's kind of exciting to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if it changed it up. If the storyline changes, I mean, I understand because you're bringing a character over from old canon into new canon that the storyline will have to change. I'm just hoping his character and that the thing I loved about Thrawn is that he's not necessarily a evil character. He's actually very smart and he sees something that needs to be done. And he finds an interesting way to deal with a problem that maybe other people don't see. And he's also an underdog because he is, at least in the old canon, he's an underdog because he is an alien. He's not a human. And so immediately he's looked down on. So I hope that kind of comes through as well because everyone loves an underdog.
And I also love the whole thing, which I don't know we'll get how much for motivating him in Rebels, but some of the backstory on the Chiss in general was that he was all about making the Empire strong to fight an outside force that he thought was going to come in and invade the galaxy. So, sometimes the Emperor just wants power. He's just evil for the sake of being evil. It's just what the Sith are. He's kind of a different shade. He wants power, but not necessarily for himself. He thinks he has a higher purpose. I don't think that Palpatine thinks he had a higher purpose other than himself. And Thrawn actually might believe in a cause, which can be really scary. But I hope we see a little bit of the people not dealing well with him in the Empire because he is an alien, because that's a really great kind of underlying theme for kids to see too. That kind of subtly played out that that people, especially in this day and age, when we see a lot of people just hating other people for no good reason, and other than they don't understand somebody, or they don't understand who they are, or they don't understand their religion. So this is a good way to kind of play it out in a children's story. Teresa, were you a big fan of the books too? Because I know you do bookworms. So was that what part of your, or not? It was like
Teresa's funny.
Do you
Teresa,
know
are you gonna have to confess here?
Did you not
this is a known fact. This is like one of the reasons I get heckled by Star Wars book people. I've never read the Thrawn trilogy. I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
Oh, well, they're getting re-released, so with new covers.
No,
so
I own the anniversary edition of Heir to the Empire. I don't own the other two, but I was thinking about it today as we were thinking about, talking about Thrawn and for him coming out in Rebels, and I made a decision. I'm not reading them until after I've seen him in Rebels.
See, she's like doing my Harry
That's
Potter
just silly. Thing. I know.
No, the reason being is because since I don't know anything really about the character other than what I hear you guys say or that I've heard other people say, I'm like, okay, well, I still don't really understand it. Like, I feel like you can't understand Thrawn until you've read his story and you've been, in that book relationship with the character. And so I want to see what the canon version of Thrawn is going to be. And then I can go back and read the books and know that, like, it's not going to be the same character, because I'd rather do that than read the books and think that Thrawn is going to be something and then he's not that in Rebels.
That makes sense.
So I want, since I don't know anything about the character and since I haven't gone down that path in my fandom, I feel like it's, a great aspect, because there are going to be other fans like me that have not read these books, and I'm going to be able to bond with those people in fandom about our first experiences with Thrawn, and then you guys are going to be able to bond with each other about your, this new version of Thrawn, and then we can come together and talk about it, and it'll be this amazing thing. And rather than me trying to run and catch up with you guys, it's going to be an awesome dynamic, like once we see it, to be able to talk about that. So I've decided, for discussion purposes in my podcasting world, that I am going to do it this way.
And we will not heckle you for not seeing it
today
or reading it. Yeah, no, actually, everyone. The one thing that Thrawn says to me, because I worried about this, a lot of the people who are now creating, directing, telling the stories are people who were fans during the original trilogy. And, we had those comments where people got upset where J.J. Abrams would make the comment about Jar Jar Binks's bones. And then, we listened to the Hunt girls on our last episode talk about Jar Jar's awesome and Ahsoka was their gateway. Well, for some people, the books were their gateway into Star Wars. And for some people, the Clone Wars. And for some people, Star Wars Rebels. For some people, the role-playing games. So there's starting to be this sort of fusing of, it's not just this big reference to the original trilogy. We're starting to get the acknowledgement that there are other ways that people have nostalgia for Star Wars. And it's not just Han, Luke, and Leia and the Millennium Falcon that make Star Wars work. It's all those things. So I believe that's why there was such a huge reaction to his appearance on the screen, was that there was sort of like, for some people, Thrawn and represents a bit of a gateway for a lot of people. There would have been no prequel trilogies if it had not been for the people who held on during those books and were interested in those books. They kept Lucasfilm going and they kept Star Wars alive. And, as far as making people still care about Star Wars in those days when there weren't movies, and we called them the dark times back then. So, it's an acknowledgement that it's not just about the original trilogy. It can't always be just about Han, Luke, and Leia. And we need to find other ways, other nostalgia. That's Saw Gerrera helps the Clone Wars people get into Rogue One. And I think we'll see more of that happen as we move forward.
Yeah. And I think it's good. I think it's all good. And I think it's really, being able to have this dynamic. And like I said, I was thinking about it really hard. And it's interesting because I at first thought, okay, I'm going to read it. And so I actually took the jacket off the book, and I actually have the book on my nightstand. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, no, I want to come into Thrawn in a different way. I want to enter it different, similar to the way that I entered Star Wars different. And how other people are entering Star Wars different. And so it's just kind of like, it's a really unique opportunity that I have, and I'm excited to go down that path.
So I think I see another character discussion in our future.
Yeah, then we'll have to talk about him again, because right now I'm just like, Thrawn. And I think I said it in our priority transmission that I was really excited when I saw I saw the character. I was like, oh my God, it's Thrawn. Like, I know what he looks like, and I'm screaming and I'm just like, this is amazing. Oh my God. And then I'm like, wait, I don't know why I'm so excited, but that's okay. Like, I knew I was supposed to be excited. Don't know why, but I am excited
for your friends.
I'm excited that the character's being included. I'm excited that there's EU being put into Rebels and being put into the actual Star Wars canon. I'm excited for my friends that have read the books and love this character, but I'm also excited to get to be introduced to him too. And so I'm just like, cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I think, I can't wait for Rebels Season 3.
Which we don't know when it's starting, but sometime in the fall. If it's anything like last year, I think it was in October.
Oh,
I think that's when it started. That's so long, so far away.
It is.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode of Fangirls Going Rogue, and it's time for the sad faces. I feel like if Star Wars had a song that mimicked the goodbye song from the Mickey Mouse Club, that's where you would play. Now it's time to say goodbye.
Aww. Yub, yub.
Yub,
Yub, yub, yub. Okay, I did sing.
There you go. We got her to sing. All right. Well, you can have fun and interact with us in between shows. You can go and visit us over at fangirlsgoingrogue.com for all the news and things going on. You can find us on Twitter. We are at FG Going Rogue. Trisha is at Fangirl Cantina. I am at Ice Cold Penguin, and Sarah is at Jedi Tink.
You can email us, contact@fangirlsgoingrogue.com. Facebook, just type Fangirls Going Rogue. Tumblr, fangirlsgoingrogue.tumblr.com, and there are awesome things on that Tumblr loaded up. So I even put Wonder Woman one time. Oops.
If it included Chris Pine, that's no problem with me.
I did.
Ooh, okay. Well, you can reach us on Instagram. We are at FG Going Rogue there as well. And you can leave us a voicemail, which is 331-21-EWOKS. And also, you can head to our TeePublic page, which you can find by going to fangirlsgoingrogue.com and clicking on the Support Us tab. And also, besides t-shirts, they now have mugs and laptop covers and all kinds of new things over there. So check out that TeePublic shop because it's really cool stuff.
Please go to iTunes and leave us a positive 5-star review. If you don't want to leave us a positive review, then we'll say maybe don't go to iTunes. And because we need your support. The reviews help people know to find us and to spread our fangirl love around the internet.
That's right. So until next time, da 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 da. Yub.
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 So now it's time for Star Wars Celebration Europe. So Trisha, you are the person we will be interviewing now. I had a really weird thing I was going to say, and it didn't come out right in my brain. So, because the Justice League trailer looked like garbage.
Well, it's just weird seeing a new Flash. It's like, wait, I love that new Flash guy.
I'm in love with Grant Gustin, so this just not happening.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Wait, who's Grant? Is that
and
the one?
He's
Grant
the
Gustin
Flash
is
on
the
TV.
Flash.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, he's the
And
best
then-
Flash ever.
Brendan Routh is my Superman.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm still in love with Christopher Reeve.
Christopher Reeve. I mean,
He's
Christopher
freaking
Reeve's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He is, because he
Like,
got it. He
did.
Superman.
And I mean, come on. Like, anyway.
I mean, I don't.
That's a
really
body.
Give two flips about Superman, so.
So you're
doesn't
out of
matter to
this
me.
discussion. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I do not. I'm not a Superman girl. Not
So
a
then
Superman
Trisha and
girl.
I
I'm
will
not-
fight over Superman.
Good. I'll take Batman.
Yeah. Christian Bale is my Batman.
I love Christian Bale as Batman, but Ben Affleck did not do that bad. So it's like, okay.
I've had that childhood crush on Christian Bale, so when he became Batman, I was
Since
like,
Newsies.
yes. Oh, yes.
Since Swing Kids and Newsies days.
Mhm,
Yep. That's what I'm talking about.
Mhm. Right age, right time. Like, oh my God, and he can sing and dance. What?
Only your puppet thing. You sound like the little girl from Emperor's New Groove and her little brother, where they're like, "Yeah, nuh-uh."
Wait a minute, this isn't Disney Vault talk.
Yeah, this doesn't make Heir to the Jedi shoot, I can't believe I said that.
I can't believe you said that either.
Heir to the Empire.
Smack me. Heir to the Empire. I can't believe I said that. Heir to the Empire.
Bonus content.